The last remaining empty pages of another sketchbook. As impatience grows to just finish with a scribble, to just call it done, and although a fresh new book is calling my name, deep down, I knew I wanted to finish strong. I start my sketchbooks with an opening spread to set the mood for a creative flow. So who says endings can't be just as special as beginnings? In previous sketchbooks that I finished, every last page included quotes from inspirational humans that help me keep going and push forward when things get tough. Especially with change. We all go through it, and it's not always easy. The words of another can help us find connection to keep going, so we know we're not alone. And this is why I wanted to try something different this time around. I wanted to create an uplifting, magical piece of art, but taking inspiration from my own journal, my own piece of writing, and perhaps create a little fairy tale and motivation mixed with a little bit of imagination, of course. Here's the thing. They say that change is inevitable. Whether it's the start or finish of something, it's quite interesting how life unravels itself with synchronicities, with difficulties, and with change. But there's always two ways we can look at something, right? So with all the change that I was currently going through, and as easy as it was to cave into the difficulties, I decided to take the other path, to write, reflect, pick myself back up, and allow my thoughts, feelings, and imagination to serve as fuel for this creative process. And with that said, this is exactly where it began. Good morning! Are you ready to create? I recently learned about the terminology of romanticizing every moment, because in truth, endings really taught me to savor each and every present moment. My sketchbook practice, along with the whole creative process, has become a little ritual, and a main focus for me has been to just take it slow, not rush the process, because as someone who works relatively quickly, I found great benefit in just slowing down. I learned that you can't rush the creative process. Creativity takes time and cannot be forced. I came across a quote by Candace that says, "There's no need to rush. Creativity is all about taking that scenic route." Throughout my reflections, I pose a specific question to myself. What makes your heart sing? There are certain things that we're all drawn to. And the beautiful thing about being human is we're all unique. We have unique tastes, unique gifts, and we all have something that excites us, gets us curious. Some things we find super enticing. For this last spread, I was really focusing on a subject that has been exciting me lately. After slowly composing my sketch, I drafted a rough color comp. And then I was almost ready to begin painting. I've been taking a bit more time to study the masterful strokes of some artists. Reading has also helped spark some really incredible inspiration. I've been making conscious decisions to try new color palettes and really focus on the mood I want to convey with each painting, as color plays a huge role. I've also been more and more fascinated with the texture you can create with each brush stroke, another intention of mine for this spread. As far as the composition, on the right, I'm going to have some text that I wrote, and to talk about what makes my heart sing, it's letter form. I've always loved typography and I've been diving deeper into it more and more, so I'll be exploring it more for the text portion. And so combining all these elements that sing to the soul, the sketch is complete and ready for the next step in the creative process. Now for the secret sauce, I'm going to be laying in a coat of matte medium to seal the sketch in so that I can begin with acrylic and oil on top. I I didn't get a chance to play around with oils as much in the sketchbook, so this is going to give me the opportunity to do so. I got a nice big flat brush, and I began coating both pages. Because I used the 2H pencil for my sketch, the sketch is not smudging when I apply the matte medium on top. My main goal is just to keep the same consistency so that the paper is nice and smooth, and then it's time to let it dry. Hey! So now that I've laid down the matte medium, that should act as like a sealant to this page that I'm going to put acrylic and oil on. While it's drying, I'm going to just do a quick brainstorm of what's going to happen next for myself to know. Then I'm thinking a quick pass in acrylic, and then once that's dry, which should dry super quickly, I'm going to go straight in with some oils. For my underpainting, I'm going to be using acrylic paint, and I'm actually choosing different colors than I normally do this time. I usually revert to just a burnt sienna or a burnt umber, but today I'm going to be doing a greenish goldish color with some burnt sienna in it as well. Since we laid in the matte medium, the acrylic will sit right on top and it won't actually absorb into the paper. As I begin the first layer of color, a quick word from our sponsors, Squarespace. This is the all-in-one platform and the perfect place for you to build your website. Squarespace allows you to fully customize your site with their award-winning templates. No matter the occupation or your location, you can build a website with Squarespace. I love their user-friendly features with simple drag and drop. You've got your portfolio or your shop ready to rock. I manage both my shop and my newly launched secret Patreon shop, and it also really helped to have their 24/7 customer service. I started it all on my own, so if I can do it, you can do it too. If you're curious about it, head to squarespace.com for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/JessCarp for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks, Squarespace! As I was adding my layers and values for my underpainting, I came to a point where I was just unsure on what to do next. Keep the color as is or stick to my original plan? Okay, so I originally wanted to go in with oils, but I think for practicality purposes and for things to dry quicker as terms of the background, I'll keep the light blue tones in acrylic and then do oil on top for the figure itself. Sometimes I get a little impatient to start with oil, but I think I just gotta keep with the process and keep going. Now you may be wondering why I did an underpainting to have everything covered up on top. Well, the underpainting actually shows through so beautifully and allows me to figure out the lighting and values ahead of time. To frame the text, I'm going to be adding fluffy clouds, so what I do is I add a little bit of paint with a flat brush and then I fluff it out, soften it with a fluffy brush. And I alternate this technique with a little bit of matte medium as well to help me blend. I've been coming to each piece I do with a little more intent, so I've been really trying to focus on lighting and different color choices. So with my first pass in acrylic and color, I wanted to find that glow and have it serve as a lovely underlayer to the oil paint. And speaking of oils, let's start with those. Even after years of painting, I still get bubbly feelings before starting with oil paint. I took my time preparing my palette from warm to cool colors, and it's been a little while since I've painted with oil, and I miss it so much, so I took some time to pre-mix my colors and get all of my values in. Pre-mixing your colors has so much benefit. Starting off with your shadows and building up to the lighter colors allows you to focus on your painting and adjust the mixtures as you go on. And well, here goes nothing. I definitely underestimated the size of the portrait. The figure took up the whole left side of the page, but the face itself was quite small. But hey, we're gonna make it work. I am using water mixable oils for this. I'm still testing them out, and I still can't believe that you can mix in water to wash your brushes, but it truly felt incredible to paint in oil again. So in the reference I'm using, her dress is blue, but I really like this like gold situation. So I think I'm gonna leave it in this kind of tonal and still do the red and the details here, but I think that it's looking so beautiful. I'm so excited. When you get lost in the creative process, euphoria is the best way I can describe it. Time seems to stop and your brush just leads the way. My main focus was to let the gold show through as the design and then add the texture with the reds on top. Another main focus for this painting is the figure's body language. Everything from her gentle expression to her hand position plays an important role, and it all plays in unison with the writing. As I was painting, I was also putting together a short text, which will sit over on the right. She sits tall and gracefully with assurance, with soft and gentle strength, leading us towards the right page. And in terms of composition, the landscape over on the right, I wanted this to be a softer element and her dress turning into the grass and land over on the bottom, as it transforms into a force of nature, which is the beauty of life, playing off of change and how it can be unfamiliar. But as she rises with courage, she realizes that there's a whole other world full of growth and adventurous land for her to discover, and it begins to emerge right in front of her eyes. How exciting! Working on all the little subtle elements and details towards the little landscape brought me so much peace and just inspired me to do a little bit more nature studies. I paint a lot of figures and portraits, but I want to challenge myself to put them in environments, in landscapes, and in nature. And once the painting portion was almost complete, I began with the text portion so that I can fill that area on the right and paste it in. After spending some time adjusting the writing on the computer, simplifying some of the words, and although I'm not an expert writer, I still found it to be a beautiful form of expression and creativity as well. I then referred back to my typography book and I got a little piece of tracing paper so that I can adjust and put it into the sketchbook spread. Since it's a little see-through, it'll act as a mock-up just so I can see how things look. But in the book industry and in the children's book realm, the artwork would be scanned in and the type would be computerized and printed. But since this brings me fun and excitement, I decided to hand letter and hand draw all of the typography just for fun. Rise up to change. Release all fears, all terror, fright, and sorrow. Let love protect, preserve, and shelter to get you through tomorrow. Rise up to transformation, lead forward with your heart. Gather courage, mix in imagination. The time has come, just start. A little simple text and piece of art for anyone needing a little pick-me-up or someone maybe going through change. I hope you connected and enjoyed this piece just as much as I did, and know you're not alone. If you're at a point of life where it may be throwing curveballs at you, choose the path of creativity and let that be the fuel for your inspiration. When one door comes to a close, we make room and space for another to open. The journey is full of lessons, whether they're beginnings, endings, and all the adventures in between. Just don't forget to make the most of it. That's all for today, guys. I can't believe we finished another sketchbook. Huge shout out to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you all for watching this video, and if you haven't seen the start of the sketchbook, be sure to check out the video on the screen. Subscribe so you don't miss the sketchbook tour, and I'll see you then. Till next time.